Welcome back to Canada Explained. My name is Roberto Wakerl Cruz. Since 2015, Justin Trudeau has been Prime Minister. He defeated Stephen Harper very decisively and has been in power ever since. While Justin Trudeau likes to put out this perception that he's a squeaky clean social justice Prime Minister, the truth is actually much different than that. In fact, Trudeau has had several big scandals, but none have really stuck to him. The guy appears to be made of Teflon. In this video, we're going to go over a few of Trudeau's biggest scandals. The Trudeau government's controversy started fairly early on to his tenure in office. In December 2017, Trudeau breached the Conflict of Interest Act by the Federal Ethics Commissioner when he visited the Aga Kahn's private island. Trudeau and his family made several trips to the Kahn's private island in the Bahamas in what was essentially a gift, a free vacation to a private island. What a lucky guy. Trudeau's response to the controversy was pretty dismissive, chalking the visit up to quality family time on a private island.
Not only did the Prime Minister accept an illegal trip to a private island, he went there and received additional gifts from someone who is actively lobbying the government. Those are the facts.
This entire controversy resulted in Trudeau being served his first of 3 ethics violations.
Warning makes it very clear that I should have taken precautions and cleared my family vacation and dealings with the Aga Kahn in advance. I'm sorry I didn't. And in the future, I will be clearing all my family vacations with the Commissioner's office.
Case 2, the SNC Lavalin scandal. A more serious scandal that actually affected Trudeau in the polls a little bit. In 2015, Montreal-based engineering firm SNC Lavalin was accused of bribing officials in Libya. The RCMP did an investigation and charges were brought forward. Didn't really go anywhere though. Because years later, when the Liberals came into power, the Trudeau government made it possible for companies to avoid criminal charges by a, quote, deferred prosecution agreement. Doesn't really mean anything until you realize what happens next. It was found that members of the Prime Minister's office pressured then Attorney General Jody Wilson-Raybould to persuade the Federal Director of Public Prosecutions to negotiate a remediation agreement with SNC Lavalin as a way of holding it to account for wrongdoing by some of its executives, which basically means they were pressuring the then Attorney General, emphasis on then, to not give SNC Lavalin a hard time over breaking the law, essentially doing a favor for their billionaire buddies. Wilson-Raybould was pressured to be lenient on SNC rather than pursuing a criminal prosecution that could financially hobble the company. Immediately after this came to light, Attorney General Wilson-Raybould would then go on to be moved from her position as Attorney General, the Minister of Veterans Affairs, which many people saw as a direct demotion due to her being a little naughty and not loyal to the Trudeau government. Raybould would then be removed from the Liberal caucus, kicked out, more like it, along with Jane Philpott, who also felt that the Trudeau government was being scandalous and lying to the public to protect their own interests. This controversy again led to Trudeau being served an ethics violation, which, as we're starting to see, doesn't seem to mean anything. Everyone remembers where they were on September 19th, 2019. That date might not stick out in your head at all, but everyone seems to remember what they were doing when they first heard that Justin Trudeau was caught wearing blackface in a series of photos published by Time magazine. The photos, which basically captured Trudeau at his time as a teacher in Vancouver, when he was 29 years old, dressed in an Arabian Nights costume, which is, he was caught wearing blackface. And for the social justice Prime Minister, this was a nightmare.
We like to say people kind, not necessarily mankind, because it's more inclusive.
There we go. Trudeau would go on to give a press conference from an airplane where he basically looked like he was going to cry to the camera for several minutes before being asked how many times did he wear blackface and was there any more photos of him or videos of him wearing blackface that would emerge. That's when Trudeau said that there was a video of him singing the Banana Boat song, Deo he called it, by Harry Belafonte in high school, again dressed in blackface. The video never emerged, but the next day a different video did emerge of him again dressed in full blackface this time, down to the tongue, not exaggerating. His tongue was black. And this caused a storm for the Trudeau government. This was only a month before the federal election in 2019 against Andrew Scheer. And poll numbers among black voters and brown voters were starting to get affected. Justin Trudeau ended up winning that election against Andrew Scheer, being reduced to a minority government and being the government to win the lowest percentage of the popular vote to ever govern Canada. Who knows how much the blackface really had to do with that, but it seemed like a lot of people were starting to realize that this social justice warrior prime minister was actually a massive hypocrite with a lot of skeletons in his closet. The blackface scandal never resulted in an ethics violation. It really didn't have anything to do with politics so much as it spoke to Trudeau's character. The next scandal and final scandal that we're going to talk about is one that is still fresh in the minds of Canadians, and it will likely end up being another ethics violation, his third, and that's the We Charity scandal. The scandal arose when just over $900 million of taxpayer funds was intended to be given to We Charity, a massive charity that does work around the world, sends kids to Africa to build schools and go on these trips, some sort of, volunteerism type thing. But it turned out that charity actually had a lot of close personal ties to the Trudeau family. The family had received funds, namely his mother and brother had received speakers fees for speaking at these We Charity events.
Happy birthday, Canada! Wow! I think this might even be better than Canada Day, the day after, because you know what we're looking forward now. And you all, the youth of our country, we're going to be turning it over to you pretty soon. And I have such hope. I'm so proud to be a Canadian. I'm so proud to be part of We as well. Now We, I love it the most because it is neither a political movement.
And it started to look like, hey, this $900 million isn't just going to some random charity. It's helping out his weird friends, Mark and Craig from the We Charity, the founders of the charity, who have known Trudeau for a long, long time. An avalanche of controversy arose from this after more and more revelations that the Liberal Party and the We Charity were in some form of cahoots. Finance committees were called, the Trudeau government was entrenched in this scandal, and it really came to a peak when then Finance Minister Bill Morneau had a testimony with the Finance Committee in which he revealed that he had accepted a $41,000 trip to Kenya and Ecuador through the We Charity that he did not pay back until the day before he had to go under oath. Really good timing, but very suspicious. Finance Minister Morneau would end up stepping down, though he didn't get fired because, of course, that would be some sort of admission of some wrongdoing. Instead, he said that he wanted to hand over the reins to see what the next finance minister could do, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but it ended up kind of getting the monkey off their back for a little while. And if that didn't do it, then what came next certainly was a total halt to any investigation into the We Charity. Shortly after this, Justin Trudeau announced that he would be proroguing Parliament, something that Trudeau heavily criticized Stephen Harper for during his administration. And what proroguing Parliament would essentially do, and has done, as we're still in prorogue at the time of filming this, is that it would halt all of the finance committees that would investigate any of the wrongdoing into the We Charity scandal. It also halts Parliament, which means that the Trudeau government couldn't be and can't be held to account until the end of September, when Parliament will return. Additionally, thousands of files on the We Charity investigation were handed over to the finance committees for them to review. Shadow Finance Minister Pierre Poilievre did a striking press conference in which he revealed just how many of the pages were completely blacked out of any information, meaning that the investigations could not even be looked into during the time of prorogation.
Information in the two documents are completely blacked out. Another email from Craig Kielburger that went to someone in the government the same day he spoke to Bill Morneau on the phone But we don't know who received the email, that's blacked out, or what the email said, all blacked out.
Part of the reason the charity was chosen in the first place, Trudeau said, was because the civil service did not have the capacity to handle the program and that the We Charity did. This ended up being totally false, as it was later discovered that the Treasury Board officials told Justin Trudeau that the We Charity did not have the capacity to handle the contract. Additionally, We Charity doesn't even function in French. The We Charity scandal has become this kind of complex mess that's a little difficult to understand at this point, as it's been going on for months. Luckily, the Post Millennial has done 2 videos on the topic that you can check out in the description below. Thank you for watching this video on Justin Trudeau's most scandalous scandals. I am Roberto Wakerl Cruz, and I host a podcast every week that comes out on Fridays with Nico Johnson called This Week in Canada. It can be found right here on this same YouTube channel. Come back every Monday for Canada Explained videos, usually with the much more handsome Matthew Granger. Please give us a like and subscription if you learned something new today or if you didn't. Hope you have a lovely week. See you next time.